Envy just won Ascension. They didn't just beat TSM, they dismantled them in convincing fashion. Now they get their 1-year ticket to VCT where most people expect them to get a nice hard wake-up call from the real pros. But now I'm starting to wonder, is that wake-up call meant for Envy? Because honestly, it doesn't feel like they're the ones getting tested by Tier 1. It actually feels like Tier 1's about to get tested by them. Envy has such an interesting playstyle, and I know I'm not the only one excited to see how this team will match up against the rest of the Tier 1 teams. I mean, who would have thought that a bunch of cracked ranked players could actually beat the cream of the crop of Tier 2? Teams that, if you think about it, are basically Tier 1 caliber talent already. I still remember their old Rankers logo and thinking, how are these guys beating actual Tier 2 teams who have loads of strats in their playbook? Well, with the looks of it, not only does Envy have a deep playbook, but they also have a playstyle similar to a certain specific team that forces you to play their kind of game. So eventually, Envy took notice and signed them. And I gotta say, this has got to be the quickest turnaround for a team. You see other Tier 2 teams and players out there grinding for years, but then 5 ranked players came by and took away their hopes and dreams of ascending. Yes, it is sad for those teams, but at the end of the day, the better team always wins. Speaking of these other teams, let's talk about TSM for a second. I'm not entirely sure how Tier 2 contracts actually work. Is it just an automatic bye-bye the moment a Tier 1 team shows interest in one of your players? I mean, can't these orgs offer guarantees or put any restrictions in the contract? Or is it just that there's so little money in Tier 2, it's way too risky for these teams to offer those kinds of secure contracts in the first place? I'm genuinely asking because I'm clueless when it comes to these things. If anyone actually knows the ins and outs of Tier 2 contracts and why this Mid Tournament Heist is even possible, drop that knowledge in the comments. Because looking at what happened here, rumors say that Timotino and Vora are supposedly on their way to 100 Thieves. Like, we're in the middle of the tournament and they got signed by another team? God knows what kind of effect that has on their mental. All I know is, if I'm guaranteed a Tier 1 contract, why would I even try my best to win in Ascension? I mean, I'm basically ascended, right? But that's just me. What about you guys? If you were in their shoes, would you still give it your all in Ascension knowing a Tier 1 spot was already waiting? Anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to NB as I want to talk about the players. Wait, wrong pick. Here we go. So let's start with Poppin, the mastermind of it all. I have not dived deep into the history of Envy, but if I were to guess, I think it all started with Poppin and Eggster always duo queuing in Radiant lobbies. You know those kinds of buddy stories where they say to each other, what if we build a team just for fun and see what happens? And that's what they did. But the difference here is that instead of just a group of friends wanting to live the dream, this group of 5 were actually ranked demon grinders who, I would say, got tired of the rank experience and were looking for the next challenge ahead. With Poppin leading the way as IGL, the team breezed through the competition, going unbeaten through their whole run the Split 3 Challengers 2024. And then now they're ascending to Tier 1. This doesn't only prove that Poppin is a ranked demon, it also solidifies that he has a mind for the game that only very few have. Will he be able to translate it when he's up against the biggest brains and the sharpest aims? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Do you think NV's system will actually work against Tier 1 teams? Or are they about to get a brutal wake-up call? I, for one, cannot wait to see. If you have ever tried to learn Yoru, you've probably watched Eggster stream. I know I have. The guy is probably the most popular Yoru main on the planet. And because he was a streamer, the big question was always the same. Sure that slashy rank playstyle worked against randoms, but how will it ever translate to a structured pro environment? Well, Ascension just gave us the answer. It translates just fine, and it turns out, being the best Yoru in rank also makes you a nightmare for organized teams. Ever since that 0-13 loss to the Guard, Inspire, formerly known as Baby J, was not able to catch a break. Labeled as an ego-driven toxic player, no teams were interested in what he had to offer. So what did he do? He took matters into his own hands. They built rankers from the ground up. Inspire has been to hell and back, and this is literally a started from the bottom, now we're here kind of vibe. Now onto the 2 young guns of the team, Kane Zira and Ion. These 2 are probably the most cracked players on the team. You've got a very aggressive duelist in Kane, the kind that can convert a split second gap into an opening. And then you've got Ion. This kid is a multi-kill machine. I'm not sure how to describe him, as he seems like the perfect mix of an aggressive smoker and a very reliable defensive anchor at the same time. Envy better lock down their contracts because other teams are surely clamoring to get gems like these players. But unfortunately, there's a major catch. You see, these guys are not yet 18, and we all know that in order for players to play in the Tier 1 league, they need to be at least 18. I'm not worried about their future because no matter what, the future is bright for these two. But it just kinda sucks that these two won't ascend yet. Needless to say, these two would still want to play despite not ascending, so I expect them to continue terrorizing the Tier 2 scene. The smart business move is that Envy just loans them out to keep them warm, and that's probably what's going to happen. But the idea of a Rankers 2.0, the possibility that they get left behind and just build a new demon stack to terrorize everyone again, that's going to be bonkers. Also, while they're at it, they should create a team of all underage cracked players so that if they win and qualify for champs, there's going to be a big problem for Riot in the bracket because these guys are all underage and therefore can't play in the tournament. Talk about making a mess, right? So, because of that, let's head to my favorite part, the speculation side of things. We all know that Kayn and Ion are not ascending yet, so who should replace these two? And yeah, this is the big puzzle, right? You have to find substitutes to your 2-star players, and as we're about to see, the market is kinda dry. And before I give you mine, I want to know your picks. Drop your ideal, realistic subs for Kayn and Ion in the comments below. Honestly, there are a couple of names floating out there. There's the likes of Floor, Infiltrator, Demon 1, Curry, and even Mindfreak. There's also a lot of people bringing up Knights. I don't even know why, but one Google search tells you that man's not even 18 yet. And as it goes, people are really looking at Floor to replace Kayn in the meantime, and I gotta agree. With all the names floating out there, I think Floor is the closest to Kayn in terms of aggressiveness. She should be a solid replacement while we wait for Kayn to wreak havoc in Tier 1. By the way, does anyone know what happened to the allegations against Floor a few months ago? Is she cleared to play? Drop it down in the comments if you know ball. But the bigger headache Team Envy has right now is who should replace Ion. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but there aren't a lot of attractive Tier 1 smokes players out there in the market. I mean, just look at NRG. They had to import Keiko, a natural duelist main from EMEA, to play smokes. Also, don't forget MIBR. Zekken, another cracked duelist, is reportedly playing smokes for the team. So, you kinda see the pattern, right? A lot of duelist players are transitioning to the smokes role. I'm not counting out players like Bang or whoever, but I just don't think they will fit into Envy's aggressive playstyle. But if I were to make the decision, I'd not look so far and give GMD a try. The guy went toe-to-toe with them too many times and their head-to-head is pretty close. So, you know, you can't deny that he's all too familiar with how Envy plays, so I think GMD would be a good fit to the team. Anyway, don't forget to drop your takes on who should sub for the two. And again, I don't know about you, but what Team Envy did in a short amount of time is truly amazing. Like I said in the beginning, this has to be the fastest turnaround in Challengers history. Poppin built this team with one goal in mind, and it is to challenge the status quo. And now, they're Ascension's champions, and they're heading to Tier 1 to challenge the status quo there. The quote, "I came, I saw, I conquered," perfectly fits what this team has done this year. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the comments because I basically live there. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed, hit that sub button so you don't miss out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.